Hello friends, and welcome to another full moon video here on Let Love Rise. This is the full moon in Aries, and I am coming to you live from Northern California, where I am in the presence of some of the most magnificent, look at this beauty, trees on planet Earth. Oh my goddess, is it gorgeous? So the full moon is on September 29th at 6 degrees of Aries. So if you have no idea what that means, it's okay. If you want to know what that means, go ahead and leave a message in the comments below and I can help you understand what your birth chart looks like. And for those of you that do know, 6 degrees of Aries, you want to look on your birth chart and see if you have any planets or points in the sign of Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So it is all about understanding our sense of self. It is a fire sign. So it is fierce. It is courageous. It is a jump first, think second kind of a sign. And so that's where the moon is. But every time you have a full moon, the sun is on the other side of the hemisphere and it is in the sign of Libra, and the sign of Libra is the first sign. It rules over the seventh house, which is the sign of others. So this full moon is really illuminating for us, and of course the sun would be at 6 degrees of Libra, which is opposing 6 degrees of Aries on the other side of the astrological chart. So also look at 6 degrees of Libra for you. What planets or points you have there, and what house does Libra rule over? So traditionally, Aries is the sense of self, and Libra is all about relationship, all about the other. It is how do we show up in the presence of others. And so that is really the signature of this beautiful, beautiful full moon in Aries. It is at the turning point of a very, very energetic year. I mean, come on. Can you believe that it is already the closing days of September? We are in the final quarter of 2023 that feels like it just got started. And yet so much has happened and so much is yet to come. We have eclipse season coming on it, which is looking at cycles and ending some cycles that are no longer serving. We have come out of this summer where we had so many planets in retrograde. The biggest ones for us, personal planets in retrograde, was Venus. She did a 40-day retrograde in the sign of Leo, and that 40-day retrograde, Venus is coming back. She is coming back with a really powerful story to tell through the eclipses, because she will be the ruler of both eclipses. But Venus, think about Venus. She is the planet of beauty and creativity and our livelihood, our finances, our well-being, our sense of self-worth. And this summer, in the sign of Leo, she underwent a retrograde for 40 days. I mean, all planets go into retrograde, and what retrograde means is simply, from our perspective here on planet Earth, it appears as if they're moving backwards. They're not. It's an optical illusion, but it appears as if they're moving backwards, and she is just now clearing her shadow. So what that means is, from our earthly perspective, where we perceive her in the sky, she's moving past that point where she started to apparently move backwards, right? So she's clearing her shadow, and she is currently in the sign of Virgo. But what is important here is that this Venus who went into this retrograde was one, and there have been videos that I have shared on Let Love Rise. I've shared, the Pele Report has done some beautiful stories of mythology. Molly McCord always tells great mythology stories. And I particularly recommend right now, if you're a fan of mythology, is that you listen to her, I believe it's the October Energies of 2023, where she talks about a couple of the, I think they are, I don't even know this. So I'm just like, I'm just being real here. I am learning as I'm going, and I feel like Molly just like stepped it up a notch, and she's talking about some asteroids, Aries and Juno and Pallas Athena. she had mentioned, but it's these outer planets that are kind of all telling this really beautiful story. And I'm not even going to enter into that story. I want to just go back to Venus, because that I understand, that I have felt, and I have felt a shift and a completion of stories, like these cycles that keep repeating, these stories that keep replaying themselves. It's like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? What is in it for me? And what is the point of this? And how can I shift out of this? But Venus, when she retrogrades, she goes into the underworld, on the western horizon. She goes down into the darkness with the sun, and then 40 days later she rises in the east with the morning sun. So she goes down with the setting sun, and then she comes up as a whole new, grounded in her presence, in her power, in her fullness, this being of, this is who I am. This is the Aries in all of us. We all have Aries in our chart, whether or not you have planets and points in it, whether it is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or just a sign in your astrological chart. We all have Aries, and Aries represents the I am, the who I am and how I show up. But we all know we don't live in this isolated planet. We are constantly in community with other people. And that is what this full moon is illuminating. On the other side is the sun in Libra. And the sun in Libra is going to, there's some stuff happening with Uranus and some other planets and things that, like, I have written notes down, but we aren't going to go there in this video, because this is more about storytelling and thinking about what matters to you, right? The person who is tuning in to listen to this, and just like, I just want to, release some of these heavy weights that I have felt like that have been on my shoulders, and I want to rewrite the story. I want to co-create the life of my dreams. That is what we're here for on Let Love Rise. So as Venus comes back, like, she is this empowered woman after this retrograde, after lots of thinking and reviewing, and what serves me, what no longer serves me, what relationships, like when I get in my body, she's in Virgo right now, when I get in my body, when I'm in the presence of this person, how does it feel? Where do I feel it in my body? Does it feel good? Is it something that's like, ooh, I don't like this feeling? Pay attention to that. If you don't like the feeling, your body is signaling something to you. And our minds, like, we want to override so many of these thoughts, these things that come up, or like, no, like, I've got this all figured out, and blah, 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 like, at least my mind, my mind tries to override my body all the time. But this retrograde was a real time to just settle in and trust that, the people that are falling away, the places, the things that are leaving our lives are for a purpose. It serves a purpose. It is in the darkest places where we have the most growth. I resonate so fully with two very powerful winged creatures, one being the butterfly. I'll show you my ring that I wear her every day. The butterfly has to experience the dark night of the soul, has to go into the chrysalis and struggle her way out. Because if you try to pry her out prematurely, she will not be able to fly. She'll die, And then the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? The phoenix is literally in a heap of ashes. And I know for me, several years ago, that's what my life was. It was like this heap of ashes. Like, what is this? And, when I got tired of asking why, I started asking, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this? Well, you're here right now. This is what I'm doing with it. I am sitting in the redwoods of Northern California, about to embrace a beautiful full moon circle with some beautiful spirits And it's so different than the life that I thought I was going to live, even just 5 years ago. So looking back at the astrology and these eclipses that are coming, they are removing, eclipses are always removing things that are no longer serving us. And all the time, that is what is the most helpful for us, is if we really examine, we listen to our bodies and we look at the things and we question, like, does this serve me still? Because some things are in our lives for, just a season. And as you know, the seasons just changed. It changed from this beautiful summer season where Venus went into and out of her retrograde, and now we're in fall. I am going to have to turn this video camera around so you could see the beauty that I'm looking at. And just as I stepped outside to film this video, this feather followed by this feather, just letting me know you're in the right place at the right time. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just need to trust. You need to trust what you've learned about yourself. You need to trust your own intuition and know that the dream that is in your heart, the seeds that have been planted maybe weeks ago, maybe months ago, maybe years ago, they're sprouting. No matter what, they're sprouting. There was, as I sit with this amazing, beautiful redwood behind me, my very first solo road trip that I took was in July of 2022. And I went to Feathered Pipe Ranch for a yoga retreat. And was going to go and was going to do yoga and was going to write. I had no idea I was going to have this mystical experience where I had some body work done, and the gentleman who was performing it on me said, as he cleared, my chakras and particularly my solar plex area, he said, there's a seed and it's planted in you, in your solar plexus, and this seed. And he was like, oh my gosh, it's a redwood. It's a redwood. And he said, redwoods have been on this earth, since time began. These beautiful creatures that live to be thousands of years old. Some of the oldest creatures on planet Earth are these beautiful trees. And so here I sit, like stepping in to my dream, just trusting, because it's scary. It's scary not knowing how I'm going to make a living for myself, but knowing that nothing has felt so right, and that is what the energies are here to tell us about. The energies are supporting us. I mean, the universe is always for us. So this full moon, as it is lighting up the sky over the next couple of nights, and hopefully you get to see her in her beauty. She is in the sign of Aries, the fire sign, the let's go, the I am, the Phoenix rising, the courageous warrior in you, the person who is authentically courageous. And yet the sun is in the sign of Libra, the scales, the balance, the equilibrium, the other. And so how do we take everything that we've learned from this Venus retrograde about who we are and how we want to show up and how we want to respond in relationships when we get a phone call that is unexpected, or a text, or we don't, it's the opposite. How do we respond? How do we take control of our emotional well-being? How do we love and care for ourselves? And yet also be aware that we are a part of this greater experience and being that includes all of these beautiful creatures and this planet and these trees and the birds and all of it. All of it. How do we do that? I think it's always best to take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass, put your feet in the ground, sit underneath a beautiful redwood tree, get outside, look up at the stars, at the sky, at the sun, feel the wind on your face, take a deep breath, step into nature, give thanks. Give thanks for all that you have and all that you have not seen with your physical eyes yet, but you know is coming to you because the universe is for you. I will leave it at that. I have some dear friends just down the road here getting ready to celebrate another wonderful woman as she steps into her half century, because come on, the party's just getting started here at 50, and it has been such a fun year of celebration and community and friends. So I'm gonna go get in there with them, but I first just want to thank you for listening, for liking, for subscribing, for sharing, for letting people know about what I'm trying to create here. Scratch that. Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. For what I'm creating here on Let Love Rise, community. Creating community. Whether you are in the city of Boise, where most of my events happen, or if you are around and about, and if you want me to come and visit you wherever your beautiful city is and host a full moon ceremony for you like I am doing here in the Redwoods, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's co-create the lives of our dreams. Let's make magic, right? YOLO. You only live once in this body and in this form. So make the most out of it. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing you in a moon circle somewhere soon. May you have the most wonderful, blessed, abundant, joyful blessings of this gorgeous harvest moon. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Here's a look at these beautiful, beautiful surroundings.